Jumi, come and see, Halima shouted as she sat cross-legged on the floor in her small room. Wetin happen now? Jumi asked. See as she fine. Dey chop her money, Halima said sadly, scrolling through Instagram photos of Adoni fashions, their favourite designer. But see the kind of life she dey live now. All the celebrities dey wear her clothes. Me wey fit sew, na only Mama Kemi and her old friends dey give me work. Na wow, Jumi said. Then immediately they heard a knock at the door. Na your neighbor, person dey find you for shop. Halima laughed and immediately jumped up. She got to her shop to see a flashy, beautiful and seemingly rich lady. Tailor, be like this your business don tire you, the woman said, looking around the shabby kiosks. No vex, madam, Halima replied quickly. See, I don say na VIP, so I will give you VIP treatment. She immediately fetched a bottle of Coke from the cooler and handed to her. Ah, Tailor, na so you dey do? Thank you, the woman said, taking a gulp. Then she reached into her bag beside her and pulled out a flowing evening gown. So na amendment you come do. Halima couldn't hide her disappointment. The woman's eyebrows shot up. If you know who made this dress, you will be grateful. I'm even letting you work on it. Halima only sighed and collected the dress. Jumi returned as the sun began to set, carrying 2 plates of rice and stew. How the work dey go now? I don't finish am. See how fine e be. But she go still look down on me tomorrow when she come collect her. You go see. Halima, leave that one. I get better gists. You know Bukola? She die? God forbid. But the girl don't blow finish. She dey so close for all these Instagram celebrities. Bukola wey no sabi put thread for needle. I guess what? She dey organize one fashion showcase to help upcoming designers. If you go register now. That night, Halima spent hours crafting the perfect message to Bukola, explaining how she had been struggling and asking about the showcase. Days passed, yet no reply. She sent another message, still nothing. The next day, she went to register herself. The registration office was in one of those gleaming buildings that made Halima feel small and out of place. When she got there, they said to her, "You sure say you get 50,000 naira?" Halima filled out every detail carefully, her hands trembling with excitement. This was it, her chance to show the world what she could do. The showcase was set for the following Saturday. Halima spent a week in a fever of preparation, selecting her best pieces and rehearsing what she would say about her designs. On Saturday morning, Halima dressed in her finest outfit and left. The entrance was crowded with beautifully dressed people, photographers, and security guards. Halima approached the door. Name? The woman asked without looking up. Halima Abdullahi. The woman scanned her list, frowned, checked again. I'm sorry, dear, but your name isn't here. Please check again. I registered last week. Madam, this is the 5th check. Go home. Halima sat on the concrete steps outside the hotel, watching people in expensive cars arrive for the event. Her father's money gone, her dreams crushed again. Her phone rang as she immediately grabbed her bag and ran off. She burst into their compound to find her father loading boxes into a truck. Daddy, na my dead body for just carry you, she said as she grabbed the box from his hands. Why you dey shout? And why are you run back so early? What was so important in that box that you cannot send Jumi to come get it for you? I was even outside when you called. They said that I was not registered. And what about the money you borrowed from me for registration? I was surprised too because I paid that day and filled the form. Her father understood and comforted her and reminded her of looking for something else to do instead of staying stuck in sewing. Thank you, Daddy, Halima said tiredly and dragged herself to her room. She lay on the bed and slept off. Since Halima hardly got others except from old women, one day, before going for Bukola's showcase, she started a sewing dress. Not for anyone. She would always sew it at night. It was a complex dress and also, she saw the style in parts. So whenever she got an idea for a part, she would hurry and get to work immediately. But then, she told no one or showed anyone the dress. She hid it in a box and kept in her father's store, as she felt no one would go there, until the day he called her. She woke up late in the night looking startled. Another part of the dress just came. She immediately reached for her drawing book and pen and started drawing quickly. The next afternoon, she rested her head on her sewing machine sleeping when her phone rang. Halima, why you no dey your shop? Jumi's voice sounded concerned. Like like I did do anything for there enter my command. I know they come out today, I beg. Wait, are you sleeping? Jimmy, see, let me call you back, I beg. I want to finish up something. Over the following days, something shifted in Halima. It was as if her father's words had finally sunk in. She seemed to not care anymore and happily mended the clothes of those who came to her kiosk. Weeks later, a young woman burst into her kiosk, tears streaming down her face. Please, can you help me? I've ruined my boss's dress that spoke more than my whole family put together. That woman puts me in jail. She held out a designer gown that looked like it had been cut in a shredding machine. The fabric was torn beyond recognition. Halima studied the ruined garments. There was no fixing this. Then she immediately remembered the box under her bed. Wait here, she said quietly. Looking at the desperate woman in her shop, Halima felt pity and hurried to her house. She returned with the dress well packaged. Give this to your boss to wear instead, but return it immediately after the meeting, Halima said firmly. Yes, I will. My boss only wears her clothes once, especially if it's for an award night. So I promise. The man carefully took the dress without even opening the package to look and left hurriedly. A week passed, then 2 and 3. Halima called the number the woman had given her, but it was disconnected. She asked around, but no one knew who the woman was or where she worked. The dress was gone, her masterpiece, her secret treasure, vanished without a trace. Halima felt as if a part of her had been stolen. Even if she had never planned to wear it or sell it, it had been hers, proof that she was more than just a mender of other people's clothes. She was scrolling through Instagram one evening when she saw it. There couldn't be two of that dress, impossible, it was hers. The post had thousands of likes and hundreds of comments, all praising the stunning mystery designer and asking where the dress was from. Halima spent hours searching through the woman's profiles, looking for clues. The woman had only a few hundred followers before that post, but now brands were commenting, offering collaborations. The dress has transformed not just how she looked, but her entire social media presence. Halima contacted everyone she could think of, posted in Facebook groups asking if they could help her find the woman who borrowed her dress, yet nothing. Then on a quiet Thursday morning, as Halima sat mending a child's school uniform, the lady arrived. Good morning, ma. Halima looked up to see the woman from 8 weeks ago. You don't do me bad, son, Halima said. Please, I'm so sorry, let me explain. The woman sat down on the plastic chair. You see, that night, after my boss wore your dress to that award ceremony, everything changed. Almost every brand she had been wanting to work with started calling her, and they all mentioned her magnificent dress, asking where she got it from. Since then, she has treasured that dress and began wearing it almost everywhere. She believes it gives her attention that she's never had before. I doubted it though, until the day I stole it and wore it to a job interview I've been seeking for years. They were all nice to me, and I immediately got the job. Something I've been trying to get for 3 years now. That's when I agreed that the dress was powerful. The lady reached into her bag and pulled out the dress carefully wrapped. Since I'm resigning from my old job, I decided to return the dress back to you as I promised. Halima felt like she was in a dream. She sat on her stool for a long time holding the dress and lost in thoughts. Was it possible? Would a piece of clothing really have some kind of supernatural power? Then she stood up and started dancing, right there in her tiny kiosk, spinning around with the dress pressed to her chest. They posted the pictures on Instagram, Facebook and WhatsApp afterwards. The next morning, Halima was almost deafened by notifications. People were asking where they could buy the dress, offering thousands of naira just to borrow it for events. Fashion bloggers wanted to feature her. Celebrities were sliding into her DMs. And one morning, Halima went from being broke to being a millionaire. Halima, what's happening? Jimmy stared at the phone in shock. Within a week, Halima was fielding calls from politicians' wives, Bollywood actresses, and billionaire daughters. On several occasions, people tried to steal the dress. Halima had to hire security and rent a safe deposit box for the dress. As the money poured in, Halima moved out of her family's compound and into a proper shop. She made Jimmy her business partner. 6 months after, Halima sat in her new office. Jimmy sat across from her, reading aloud from the latest news newspaper article about their business. The Cinderella seamstress of Lagos. How one dress changed everything. Jimmy read. Halima smiled, remembering the days when she sat in her tiny kiosk, dreaming of recognition while mending torn seams for pocket change. She wanted to reach the top, but she never expected to arrive so quickly and so big. After years, when the dress was worn out and not fit to be worn anymore, Halima kept it in a climate-controlled case in her office, both as inspiration and as a reminder of how far she had come.